Hello, my name is Tabitha Savage, and this is for Management 6334 Seminar in Organizational Behavior. This is the Heidi Roizen oral case study. Today we'll be going over two questions. The first question is, what are the strengths of Roizen's network across the different stages of her career? And the second question is, using the concepts discussed in the readings for Module 5, discuss the extent to which these concepts apply to Roizen and how these concepts influenced her power and networking success. For the first question, I do think that Roizen's first taste of the value of networking came during her very first job, and her very first job was actually hosting puppet shows for children's birthday parties for extra income. I think it was then that she first started to realize that word of mouth and who you know plays a very big role in your job. The first time that Heidi's networking truly paid off was when she landed a job at Tandem. The job had over 60 applicants, but Heidi had a friend who was able to connect her with the hiring manager, and this gave her the leg up that was needed to win the position to become editor of the company newsletter. This position as editor was a major stepping stone for Heidi, having to write about the company events and personal interest stories, the company performance, and product releases. Heidi was invited to sit on monthly top management meetings. This she was able to take full advantage of. She was able to connect with her upper management, but it also gave her the experience of interacting with these business leaders. That showed to be very successful when she decided to go back to school at Stanford to get a graduate degree for business. She was able to ask the CEO of Tandem to write her a letter of recommendation, which he did. After graduating graduate school, she started up a company with her brother, Teamaker. Teamaker was a self-starting company with little to no capital, unlike its competitors. But Heidi knew that she could make it work with her outgoing personality and her desire to meet new people. This was proven when she was able to market Teamaker to the press. She would contact the press and have them write up reviews and recommendations on Teamaker's services. During this time, she was also able to strengthen her network by joining the SPA, the Software Publishers Association. After she joined SPA, she was quickly named president, and this gave her a very good leg up with all the business candidates in the California area and worldwide that knew about SPA at the time. After selling Teamaker and joining forces with Apple, where she was able to grow her network even more in a high-profile role, she also had to test her network for the very first time. Apple was currently struggling with their Mac, and companies like Intuit was about to jump ship and go back to Windows-based. But Heidi had to use her previous networking and relationships built to reach out to these high CEOs like Bill Campbell from Intuit and explain that there was a tough time for Mac and Apple's platform, but she was able to also explain during this time what they were going to do to fix these issues. This led to Heidi getting pledges from several different software CEOs that they would stand by her and by Apple's platform. And Apple was able to eventually use these quotes and pledges to create an advertisement in the Wall Street Journal. If Heidi had never made a network for herself and she never made these relationships, that advertisement would have never happened. And that advertisement going into Wall Street at the time was very, very important for Apple to reach out to smaller businesses to let them know that, hey, these CEOs are standing with us during this time and that you should stay as well. Moving on to the second question, using the concepts discussed in the readings in Module 5, discussing these concepts and how they applied to Heidi Roizen. Starting with Uzi and Dunlap and how to build your network, they talked of super connectors, which I found really, really interesting, and I definitely felt that Heidi was a super connector. I don't feel like she was a super connector in the beginning. I felt like maybe after creating the Teamaker and joining the SPA is when she really did become a large super connector and broadening her network to that point. In the book Give and Take by Adam Grant, Heidi is, I don't believe she's a giver or a taker, but I do believe she's a matcher. Matchers are placed right in the middle of givers and takers. They try to create a balance between giving and taking. They operate on the policies of fairness, and they provide assistance to help others, which Heidi definitely does, especially like towards the latter part of her career when she was a mentor capitalist. She frequently helped others, people in her network she liked and respected. She helped find new careers, but she also puts in the fairness. For example, she would only ever connect two parties if the value was there for both parties to gain benefits from each other. Heidi definitely prides herself on knowing that she needs to be the door for connectors and not the window.